New York, early 1990s. The sidewalks of Harlem pulse with mixtapes, car horns, and dreams too big for the gray buildings that hold them. Among the rush of people, a young man walks with determined steps. His suit is too big, his gaze too sharp. His name is Sean Combs. At that time, he's still just Puffy, a relentless intern convinced that his name will one day echo like a brand. He talks fast, promises a lot, and his confidence always wins people over. Sean has neither wealth nor power, but he carries one burning certainty. He was born to create something the world has never seen. That's when he meets Misa Hylton. She doesn't need a spotlight to exist. A stylist at heart, she understands before anyone else that hip-hop isn't just music, it's a visual language. She instinctively knows how to turn that raw energy into fashion, attitude, and image. Between them, the connection is instant. Sean builds the sound, Misa defines the look. Together, they imagine an entire culture. Oversized jackets, gold chains, sneakers, everything becomes a statement. Their relationship embodies the perfect fusion between ambition and artistry, between the streets and sophistication. While Sean spends nights in the studio, Misa designs the looks that will define an era. They dream together, work together, fight together. And in 1993, their son Justin is born, proof that their shared vision could create something real. But success always has a price. As Bad Boy Records explodes, their days turn into marathons and their nights into absence. Faces blur, temptations multiply. Misa watches the man she loves become a public figure, consumed by fame. The calls fade. The glances turn distant. The Sean she knew, curious, passionate, slowly disappears behind a confident, almost untouchable persona. She realizes that fighting fame is like chasing a ghost. So she chooses silence, not bitterness, just clarity. She pours herself into her work, protects her son, and learns to live without him. She knows that one day, the world will remember the name Diddy, but she, in the shadows, will always remember Sean, the man she helped become that name. Years later, when she speaks of that time, there's no anger, no regret, only quiet pride. Misa Hylton didn't just love Sean Combs, she helped give birth to Diddy, the myth. And when she walked away, he lost more than a partner. He lost the last person who reminded him where he came from. By the mid-90s, Sean Combs is no longer the hungry intern from Harlem. He's the face of Bad Boy Records, the man behind the hits, the parties, the rising legends. His empire grows at lightning speed. Music, fashion, media, everything orbits around him. But the brighter the light, the longer the shadow. And in that whirlwind appears Kim Porter. Born in Columbus, Georgia, she carries a calm that fame can't buy or imitate. A former model, she knows the world of entertainment, but keeps both feet on the ground. Where Sean talks loud, Kim observes. Where everyone else tries to impress, she simply exists. And that's exactly what disarms him. With Kim, Sean doesn't have to prove anything. She doesn't fall for the producer or the power. She loves the man behind the sunglasses, the one who still doubts himself despite success. Their bond is natural, instinctive, and their chemistry is undeniable. But even genuine love can't find peace. They're drawn to each other as intensely as they push each other away. They break up to make up, love without ever truly settling. Still, Kim becomes the center of his world. Together, they have 3 children, Christian, and later, the twin girls Delilah Starr and Jesse James. Through them, she gives him something no contract or fortune could ever offer: a home. With her, he rediscovers a sense of balance he thought he'd lost. To many, Kim is the only one who can bring Diddy back to reality. She knows his excesses, his flaws, his contradictions. She never tries to control him, only to remind him he's still human before he's an icon. But fame is an insatiable monster. Rumors, endless parties, and social appearances wear down their bond. True to herself, Kim chooses discretion. No public drama, no scandal. She prefers dignity over noise. Her silence becomes her shield. Then comes Jennifer Lopez. The world watches the new couple under flashing lights while Kim quietly steps away. No bitterness, no rivalry. She knows how stories like this burn out on their own. And when that romance eventually ends, Sean comes back, as always. Not necessarily out of love, but because he orbits her like a planet around its sun. People often said, no one calms Diddy like Kim. She could read his silences, sense his storms before they broke. But some storms never truly pass. Kim learns to live with his absences, raising their children with serenity and grace. She becomes, almost unintentionally, the steady heart in his chaotic life. Then, in November 2018, tragedy strikes. Kim Porter is found dead in her home at 47. The news hits the entertainment world like a thunderclap, but for Sean, it's a private collapse. He shares old photos, writes words heavy with grief. Forever my soulmate. For the first time, Diddy has no mask, no smile, no pose, just a broken man facing what he can never fix. At the funeral, witnesses describe him trembling, speechless, overwhelmed by loss. That day, he realizes what success can never give back: peace. Because deep down, Kim was the only one who reminded him what love truly meant. In the months that follow, he speaks of her often. He calls her his best friend, his angel, his eternity. But the words, no matter how sincere, come too late. Kim Porter wasn't just a chapter, she was the book itself. Her absence leaves a void nothing can fill. The laughter, the glances, the grounding, all of it vanished with her. And in the silence that follows, Sean Combs perhaps understands for the first time that among everything he built, it's the love he couldn't protect that he misses most. By the mid-2000s, Diddy had conquered everything again. His empire was at its peak. Brands, red carpets, ad campaigns, everything bore his mark. To the world, he was the ultimate success story, the Harlem visionary turned multimillionaire. But behind the glass, something had cracked. The brighter he shined, the hollower it felt. That's when Cassie Ventura entered his life. She was 21, quietly beautiful with a calming gaze. An aspiring singer, she signed to his label. At first, it was all professional, the seasoned mentor and the promising young artist. But soon, the lines blurred. For Cassie, Diddy represented success, protection, and access to a world she barely knew. For him, she embodied youth, softness, and the quiet admiration he no longer found elsewhere. Their relationship became an open secret, visible but never defined. A fragile balance of waiting and control. On the surface, everything looked perfect. Private jets, exclusive parties, designer gowns, endless travel. But behind the glamour was another reality. Cassie's friends described a woman who smiled in public, but slowly disappeared inside herself. Her music career faded, projects stalled, and eventually, she became known not for her songs, but as Diddy's girlfriend. She lived in his world by his rules. Every decision, every movement, every priority revolved around him. In that dazzling world, she learned to stay silent, to shrink herself so as not to disturb the image. And silence became her daily routine. Years passed, 10, maybe more. From the outside, they looked steady. Inside, they were suffocating. Because in too much silence, even love burns out. In 2018, Cassie made the decision many thought impossible. She left. No statements, no scandal. She simply walked away, like waking from a long dream she no longer wanted. Soon after, she met Alex Fine, a fitness trainer. With him, simplicity replaced luxury, tenderness replaced control. Within a year, she married. The following year, she became a mother. And for the first time on social media, her smile looked real. No makeup, no pose. Just freedom. Meanwhile, Diddy kept showing up, launching ventures, making appearances, flaunting new relationships. But in his eyes, something had changed. The arrogance had turned to weariness, as if each win felt emptier than the last. Then, in 2023, Cassie broke her silence. She filed a lawsuit against Sean Combs, accusing him of years of abuse, manipulation, and control. The shock was global. For some, it confirmed long-whispered rumors. For others, it was too dark to believe. But what struck everyone most was how fast it ended. Within 24 hours, the case was settled privately. No trial, no confession, just silence. This time, though, silence didn't protect, it accused. From that moment, public perception shifted. The same questions kept returning. How many women carried, in the shadows, the cost of his rise? How many loved the man before the myth, only to become his scars? From Misa to Kim, from Jennifer Lopez to Cassie, the faces changed, but the pattern didn't. Charm, control, escape. Always the same cycle, power disguised as love. Today, the lights have cooled. The mansions echo with memories, not music. The trophies still shine, but the laughter is gone. Kim is gone. Cassie has moved on. And Diddy, despite the fortune and the fame, seems lonelier than ever. Because in the end, the story he tried to write in beats, parties, and scandals no longer belongs to him. It belongs to the women he left behind, the ones who hold the truest version of his legacy, the one no PR campaign can erase. His music made the world dance, but the silence of these women, that's the one sound he never learned how to silence.